Hotep, peace everybody. This is another than your man Rhythm Phoenix coming back at you again with some good information. This time I am reading out of the book The Hamlet's Mill on page 430 and dealing with this Nibiru thing. Everybody believes Nibiru or Nibiru is a planet that's coming back into the vicinity of the solar system or already is within it and it's going to cause calamities. And this is called the star wormwood in the Bible. Okay. Um, I just want to read something to you, and you come to your own conclusions. If I have something to say, I will say it. This is Appendix 39 of the book Hamlet's Mill, page 430, Exorcist on Gilgamesh. I'll get through as much as I can. Okay. There are many points from which to start new trips of exploration into the Gilgamesh epic. Once it is concealed that or conceded that reasonable questions have to be asked. Among the many we single out two, without intending to get at the bottom of the matter. The first concerns the ferryman, the second concerns trees. Face to face with the ferryman Urshanabi, a kind of personified me who was dragged away from the confluence of the rivers to check the proper measures of Uruk. It can hardly be taken for a far-fetched idea that we ask for comparative individuals or places in other Mesopotamian texts. There is, indeed, no need for a frantic search. The Enuma Elish offers us an equally decisive item from which depends the whole skeleton map, namely Nibiru or Nibiru. There are three passages of the so-called Babylonian Genesis that give, recognizable at first glance, details of the surveying of the New World as accomplished by Marduk/Jupiter. In Spacer's translation, they read thus: He crossed the heavens and surveyed the regions. He squared Apsu's quarter, the abode of Nudimud, and the Lord, measured the dimensions of Apsu, the great abode. Its likeness he fixed as Ishara. The great abode, Ishara, which he made as the firmament. Anu, Enlil, and Ea he made occupy their places. He constructed stations for the great gods, fixing their astral likenesses as constellations. In quotation marks, Heidel, the stars, their likenesses, the signs of the zodiac he set up. Okay, and he has a note at the bottom of the page referring to this section, note 1. He determined the year by designating the zones. He set up 3 constellations for each of the 12 months. After defining the days of the year by means of heavenly figures, he founded the station of Nibiru to determine their heavenly bands, that none might transgress or fall short. Alongside he set up the stations of Enlil and Ea. They raised high the head of Isagila, equaling Apsu. Having built a stage tower as high as Apsu, they set in it an abode for Marduk, Enlil, and Ea. Now, this is the author here. Leaving aside the specific charm of these passages, i.e. the circumstance that the places of Anu, Enlil, and Ea in 4.146 and their stations in 5.8 are not the same, we concentrate on EE 5.6. He founded the station of Nibiru to determine their heavenly bands, quotations, parentheses, Spicer, or he founded the station of Nibiru to make known their duties, or Setzi in den Nibiru Punkti that's German, I think. No need to read that part. Alongside, he set up the stations of Enlil and Ea, or he established the stations of Enlil and Ea together with it, or that's another one. That means the position of the ways of Anu, Enlil, and Ea was a function of Nibiru. Let me repeat. That means the position of the ways of Anu, Enlil, and Ea was a function of Nibiru. That only the setting up of the points or stations of Enlil and Ea is mentioned, suggested that Marduk/Jupiter claims the Anuship for himself. There's a note too for that. The experts seem to be quite happy with the equation that Nibiru equals Jupiter. But what is his station or point? Considering that upon this very station of Nibiru rests the whole tripartition of the universe during the age ruled by Marduk/Jupiter, it is surprising how little the professionals care. The plain meaning of Nibiru is ferry, ferryman, ford. This is amazingly key, as I named myself, my rap name is Shan Sharon, and Sharon was the name of the ferryman on the river Styx. He also talked about how he dealt with the measures of the river, and my last name, which is German, is Frederick, means perfect ruler, so it's very of perfect measurement. Very strange. So, Mikis Nibiri is the toll one has to pay for crossing the river from Ibiru to cross. Okay, remember the word Hebrew means those who crossed over, according to the scholars. So we have the word Hebrew, then we have the word Ibiru, which means to cross. Alfred Jeremias insisted that Nibiru in all star texts of later times indicated Canopus, making this star for the provider of the meridian of the city of Babylon. There have been other identifications, including even a comet, the summer solstice, or the celestial North Pole. Very key. He says that Nibiru was also considered to be the celestial North Pole. Okay, the opinions and verdicts collected by Gossman in Planet, page 31 or 311, show clearly that Nibiru remains an unknown factor for the time being. This deplorable situation is not improved by means of the next occasion, when the ominous word is hurled at us anew in EE 7.124 FF, where 50 names are given to the new ruler, Marduk/Jupiter, among which is Jupiter, which is Nibiru. Spicer translates, Nibiru, now in Lawrence W. King, Nibiru is Jupiter as well. The New Elish. Nibiru shall hold the crossings of heaven and earth. Those who failed of crossing above and below, ever of him shall inquire. Nibiru is the star, which in the skies is brilliant. Verily, he governs their turnings. To him indeed they look, saying, He who the midst of the sea restlessly crosses, let crossing be his name, who controls its midst. May they uphold the course of the stars of heaven. May he shepherd all the gods like sheep. Heidel translation. Nibiru shall be in control of the passages in heaven and on earth. For every one above and below who cannot find the passage inquires of him. Nibiru is his star which they caused to shine in the sky. He has taken position at the solstitial point. May they look upon him, saying, He who crosses the middle of the sea without resting, his name shall be Nibiru, who occupies the middle thereof. May he maintain the course of the stars in heaven. May he shepherd all the gods like sheep. And it goes on in different translations here. Now, how secure and unshakable the ground is upon which we walk, according to the inscrutable decree of the experts, may be guessed from the translation of lines 128 through 32 by Albrecht Gotze, who starts from the conviction that Ibiru equals to bind, to enclose, which, combined with the solution that Tamtim means struggle, apparently permits him to get rid of the midst of Tiamat. Who enclosed in his net, indeed, amidst the struggle without loosening, may his name be encloser, who seizes amidst it. Of the stars of heaven may he uphold their courses. May he shepherd the gods, all of them like sheep. F.M. Bohl was at least perplexed enough to admit uh, his own language, but he did not further the case by upholding opinion incompatible among themselves, since based upon doubtful identifications. On the one hand, he claimed Nibiru to be the name given to the planet and his hypsoma. On the other hand, he took Nibiru for a star or constellation, uh, marking the point where Jupiter entered the way of Anu, to which he adds, the time of observation is the night of the vernal equinox, when the sun stands at the cross point of equator and ecliptic, in the constellation Aries. He does not reveal from where he has this surprising knowledge. He seems to rely on the identification of El Iku with Aries/Cetus, which is not the case. The Pegasus square it is, but the constellation is not mentioned in 7.12.4 or 7.124 FF, so what? Apart from this, we do not know whether, in the time of the Enuma Elish, Aries was taken for Jupiter's hypsoma. There seemed to be reason for recognizing, already at this time, Cancer, more precisely, Procyon equals Nangar equals the carpenter, as Jupiter's exaltation. We know that Jesus was the carpenter, and Joseph. In the third place, if Bohl takes El Aku for Aries, ruling the vernal equinox, how could Jupiter enter there, the way of Anu? The way of Anu represents a band accompanying the equator, reaching from 15 or 17 degrees north of the equator to 15 or 17 degrees south of it. The way of Enlil runs parallel to that of Anu in the north, the way of Ea in the south. That, due to the precessional shifting of the crossroads of ecliptic and equator, the stars standing in these three ways are not the same all the time. Goes without saying. I'll stop right there and I'll come with part 2 on this right here, dealing with Nibiru. Ashe.